Welcome to the Relationship Workout for Men podcast, season 24, Navigating Emotions in Relationships. We're in episode 5, Be Aware of How You're Presenting. And today's guest is Lindsey Sherwin, an artist, registered drama therapist, expressive arts therapist practitioner, mental health counselor, and social entrepreneur based in New York City. And in this episode, we're going to explore techniques to help men understand and improve their emotional expression and body language in intimate relationships. So what do you think about this topic?
I think it's very important and needed because a lot of times this goes back to what we've already talked about, which is this concept of awareness and empathy, as well as validation and patience. And a lot of these skills can't be developed if we're not, in the relationship and we're aware of the power dynamics around them. And so it's important to know how you're presenting, because once you know that and you're aware of it, all of these other components and skills that go into the relationship can flourish.
So how do you get that awareness? Because do you do it in a mirror? Do you talk to your partner? Like how, obviously I can't see myself. How do I do that? Help me with that one.
Yeah, so again, there's different ways to do this with a structured container with the provider. Like if I were to work with someone, as a provider, talking to them and sharing with them concepts that they can work on in their daily life, I would probably offer the role play again, because the role playing really does help with the awareness and the empathy. And I think that's where things go awry a little bit, is when we're not aware of the empathy of the other person. Like they might have empathy towards us, but if we can't identify how we're being, then that's an issue, right? That's going to be a long-standing issue. So there is a technique that I use. It is called mirroring, and it's very primary in drama therapy. And I actually did it recently with a client who was looking to develop his social and relational skills. And so I did this exercise recently where I had the person play partner A and I was partner B, and vice versa. I kind of modeled it where we just do a mirroring of our movements. So if I put my hand up, you put your hand up, right? It's really just this fundamental attunement learning skill. It's attunement, it's matching behavior and attuning. That's the skill the person is learning, and that'll really help in a structured environment to feel more connected to the partner. So that's one way to really focus on how you're presenting. You can not only see yourself and what you're doing, you can't physically see yourself and how you're moving unless there's a mirror around you. But if you kind of get a feeling inside of how it feels to connect with somebody and not talk to them, if you're doing this and I'm doing this, right? You start to see how that feels in your body to be in that space. A lot of this work is body-based, right? It's not as cognitive. There are some cognitive components of how we're talking to ourselves, what we're saying to ourselves, how we're phrasing things, that positive self-talk, but a majority of it is really tapping into those inner elements that are not always visible to us in the moment when we're with another person.
So it seems like what a great topic to have for our partner to talk about, or ask her or him, how am I presenting right now? Because generally you have to capture the moment of that argument, or that's when you're because the way I present when I'm in a place of calmness is totally different, I think, than when I'm upset. So, but what a great, if I'm trying to convey to my partner that I'm trying to improve my relationship skills, that seems like a great topic to ask her. So next time I'm clearly upset, I give you permission, that's probably not the right words, but to tell me how I'm presenting right now, and maybe it goes both ways, but it sounds like we know that we communicate mostly through our body language, then versus our words. So what a great topic, right? How would you coach a relationship, a couple, to do that? Is it just as simple as tell me, like what it would, like how would we do that?
Yeah. So there's like a sense of training that goes into this, right? Like we're training ourselves and we're training the other person through ourselves as a conduit to get to where we both want to be. And like this is sort of what happens in like a couples therapy, right? Like we're getting to a place where we both want to be there. We both want to reach the end of the tunnel together. We want to get out of the tunnel together and see the light and feel the light and be embraced by that. And part of why I set this response up as a metaphor is because I actually want to bring that up in conjunction with what we do in this expressive work, right? Which is using the metaphor. It is using a metaphor. So maybe describe your relationship. Okay, what's the problem? We fight, we argue, we're never on the same page. He does this, she does that. That's usually how it happens. We're stuck in the heap of the details. We're not looking at the real cause. We're looking at the effects and we're dismissing the cause. A lot of people do that too, which is a problem. We always want to look at the cause because we make causes, and that's a spiritual concept. We are always making causes, and that delivers, unfortunately, when they're not causes that are targeted for our best selves or our best well-being and for the person's well-being, the other person, they're going to result in negative effects. And so when you're more conscious of that, and that's really, to do that, like, how do we do that, right? Well, like, let's both make a cause for our relationship. What's the cause? To be able to get to a point of reciprocity, mutuality, respect, self-respect, loving care and support, perseverance, resilience, right? These are all causes to make, and you will reap those benefits of the effects. So that's a spiritual component of it, which I really like to use in my work, but also like more reality-based associations. Is this working for you? Do you like the way this is going? Some people need that more directive approach to make a new choice. That is very important to some people. Like, I don't want the metaphor. It's too abstract for me right now. I always believe in getting there. That's my lens. That's my theory. But I do understand, like, it's integrative, right? So like it because I'm an integrative practitioner, I use this kind of choice behavioral approach as well. Like, you don't like this. Okay, so how do you see me? Can you tell me how you see me? Yeah, so let's talk to each other. If you can get to a place of conversation and talking to each other about how one another sees one another, that's imperative to changing the results, right? To changing the effects and making new causes to benefit them, to create more benefit for both of you in this relationship.
So it sounds like, and you mentioned this, is that being aware that how I'm presenting can even though I may want to be empathetic, it's totally, when I'm upset, I'm probably the complete opposite of showing like I have empathy for my wife or my partner. It's like being aware, if for no other reason, to be able to get to that place of empathy, to show, like I just think that being able to enable the couple to talk to how they're expressing, they're showing themselves is just so important. It's like, it's got to be one of the most important. Now that I think about it, to be able, it's part of the journey to get to being able to be more empathetic with each other. Because, I mean, how can you want to have a conversation with me if I'm showing that I don't care? And it may be that it's not that I don't care, it's just that I'm upset. But I can't talk to that I'm upset because all I want to do is think about leaving. It's like, it's all additive, right? And so if I can just know that my objective is to be empathetic and be able to sit with whatever my partner is trying to convey. And to do that, I need to be able to call out how I'm feeling and to call out that this is not working, and to use those short discussion points that you talked about. It sounds like that's part of that journey that I think most men could have, because it just, now that you talk about it, it doesn't sound so hard. It doesn't sound like there's such a long path to take. It feels like it in the argument. It feels like, oh my God, she's here and I'm here. It's like we're totally different places, but it doesn't have to be that way. I'm going to stop our episode here because I think this is a natural segue to our next episode, which is Be Straight, Cut the Bullshit, which I think is really going to be the segue here. Thank you so much, Lindsey, and I'll see you in the next episode.